Welcome, my fellow horror enthusiasts, to a place where shadows dance and whispers echo with the chill of the grave. Tonight we embark on a journey into the world of abandoned breweries, those once bustling hubs of merriment now shrouded in an eerie silence, haunted by spirits unable to find peace. So dim the lights, lock your doors, and prepare to be captivated by the spine-chilling accounts of ghostly apparitions in deserted craft breweries. Our first stop takes us deep into the heart of Old Town, where cobblestone streets whisper tales of a bygone era. It's here we find the remnants of the Iron Kettle Brewery, a once thriving establishment now cloaked in an unsettling silence. The building itself seems to sag under the weight of its own grim history, its brick facade crumbling like a forgotten tombstone. Locals whisper tales of the brewery's demise, each story more unsettling than the last. It began subtly, they say, with strange occurrences plaguing the late-night cleaning crew. Shadows seemed to shift in the periphery, vanishing when approached. The scent of cold, stale beer would waft from the empty fermentation tanks, accompanied by an unexplainable chill. Then the whispers started, disembodied voices swirling in the darkness, just out of earshot. Equipment malfunctioned, conveyor belts jerking to a halt without warning, bottles shattering in the dead of night, as if guided by an unseen hand. Workers, once eager to earn an honest wage, grew increasingly agitated, their unease morphing into outright terror. Rumors of the brewery being cursed began to circulate, spreading like wildfire through the close-knit community. Employees, their faces pale with fear, recounted seeing a shadowy figure lurking in the shadows, its eyes glowing with an eerie, malevolent light. The figure, they claimed, seemed to emanate an overwhelming sense of dread, its presence suffocating, paralyzing. The accidents escalated, no longer mere inconveniences but full-blown disasters. A brewer narrowly escaped being crushed by a falling pallet of empty kegs, the heavy wood splintering just inches from his feet. Another claimed to have been shoved against a wall by an unseen force, the pressure leaving behind a handprint that glowed with an unnatural heat. The final straw came when the head brewer, a man known for his stoic demeanor and unwavering skepticism, stumbled out of the basement, his face ashen, his eyes wide with a terror that chilled those who witnessed it. He spoke of a chilling presence he encountered in the depths of the building, a darkness so profound it felt as if it were a living, breathing entity. Whatever he saw, whatever he felt down there, it shattered his sanity, leaving him a shell of his former self. The brewery was shut down immediately, its doors bolted shut, its windows boarded up as if trying to contain the evil that had taken root within. But some things, as we all know, cannot be contained. The Iron Kettle Brewery stands as a chilling reminder that some places are best left undisturbed, their dark secrets buried beneath layers of dust and decay. Our next tale takes us to a place where the line between the living and the dead blurs, a place where the very ground beneath your feet seems to whisper with the sorrow of those who came before. High atop Cemetery Hill, overlooking the sprawling city below, sits the Grim Reaper's Brewhouse, a name that would prove to be tragically ironic. The brewery's founder, a man driven by ambition and a thirst for success, had ignored the warnings of the locals, dismissing their concerns about disturbing sacred ground. The old cemetery, they had pleaded, was a place of peace, a final resting place for generations of souls. To build upon it, they warned, would be to invite untold sorrow and unearth a darkness better left undisturbed. Their pleas fell on deaf ears, their warnings brushed aside like so much dust. Construction commenced, the rhythmic clang of hammers and the whine of saws echoing through the valley, a jarring dissonance against the solemn silence of the ancient graveyard. And that's when the nightmares began. Workers, strong and hardened by years of labor, would wake in cold sweats, their dreams plagued by visions of shadowy figures with eyes that burned like hot coals. Tools vanished, only to reappear in impossible locations, as if placed there by unseen hands. Accidents, at first minor, became more frequent, more severe. A mason, his back turned for a moment, was struck by a falling brick, the impact leaving a gash that mirrored the shape of a tombstone. A carpenter, his mind clouded with an unexplainable fear, sliced his hand open on his own saw, the blood staining the wood a macabre crimson. As the brewery neared completion, the energy surrounding it grew heavier, the air thick with a palpable sense of dread. The grand opening arrived, a night meant to be a celebration of achievement, instead transformed into an evening of sheer terror. Guests, their faces flushed with excitement, soon found themselves gripped by an unshakable unease. Whispers circulated through the crowd, whispers of cold spots, of fleeting glimpses of spectral figures in the brewery's reflection in the windows. Waitresses, their smiles strained, spoke of trays being yanked from their hands, glasses shattering as if struck by an unseen force. The brewery's owner, his face pale with a growing terror, attempted to quell the rising panic, but his words were drowned out by a sudden, deafening crash. All eyes turned towards the source of the commotion, their gazes drawn to the newly installed tap system, its gleaming brass now twisted and mangled beyond recognition. And then, from the heart of the wreckage, a blood-curdling scream pierced the air, the sound of pure, primal terror. The brewery shut down that night, its doors closing on a legacy of pain and suffering. Chapter 3. The Vanishing Brewer. Our final tale leads us down a winding road shrouded in mist and shadowed by towering trees, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Here, nestled in a secluded valley, lies the ruins of the Hopscotch Hollow Brewery, its once vibrant facade now covered in creeping vines, its windows like vacant eyes staring out at the world. This brewery, unlike the others, wasn't plagued by accidents or overt hauntings. No, its story is far more insidious, shrouded in a mystery that lingers like the scent of hops on a forgotten breeze. The brewery was the brainchild of Elias Croft, a man with a passion for brewing as boundless as his ambition. He poured his heart and soul into Hopscotch Hollow, crafting each brew with an artist's touch, his recipes guarded with a jealous zeal. Elias wasn't just a brewer. He was an innovator, a visionary, constantly experimenting with new flavors, pushing the boundaries of what a craft brewery could be. And then, without warning, he vanished. One day, Elias was there, in his element, surrounded by the intoxicating aroma of fermenting grains and the comforting hiss of the bottling line. The next, he was gone, vanished without a trace. His disappearance sent shockwaves through the small community, leaving behind a void that whispered with unanswered questions. Searches were conducted, theories were spun, but Elias Croft remained elusive, his fate a mystery that gnawed at the edges of their collective consciousness. The brewery, once a testament to Elias's passion, fell into disrepair, its equipment gathering dust, its tanks standing empty, the sweet scent of brewing replaced by the musty odor of decay. But even in its abandonment, Hopscotch Hollow held on to its secrets, whispering them only to the wind. Locals, their voices hushed with a mixture of fear and respect, would tell stories of seeing a lone figure wandering the brewery grounds at dusk. A figure that bore a striking resemblance to Elias Croft, his face etched with a profound sadness, his eyes searching, always searching. Some claimed to have seen him through the grimy windows, hunched over his old brewing journals as if trying to recapture a memory lost to time. Others spoke of catching a whiff of his signature brew, a unique blend of hops and spices that only Elias knew, the scent lingering in the air long after the figure had disappeared. The stories varied, but the core remained the same. Elias Croft, or at least his spectral form, was still bound to the brewery he loved, unable to move on, trapped in a perpetual loop of searching and sorrow. As the veil between our world and the spectral realm thins, we find ourselves drawn to these tales, these glimpses into the unknown. Thank you for joining us on this eerie journey through some of the most haunted breweries. Until next time, keep your hops close, your wits about you, and remember, sometimes the most chilling tales are those whispered in the darkness.